What's going on, everyone? Max here again, FrozenCPU. Today we just wanted to take a quick look at the Scythe Fuma 2. This cooler's been getting a lot of traction lately. Some of the other big review channels have been looking into it. Seems like a fairly decent cooler. It's a pretty good size. Comment on this video and stay till the end because we will be giving this away, as long as, just like last time, if you live in the US or have a USA shipping address, you comment on the video and you have to be subscribed in the comment to enter to win this cooler. Alright? If you're not subscribed and you leave a comment, you're going to get skipped over. Also, if you get selected to win, it's going to go right on YouTube. I'm going to send you a message and say, hey, you won. Please email me, contact me, whatever. If you don't get back to me within a couple weeks, I'm going to have to just give it on to the next person. So sorry about that. Anyway, so now you know. Alright, Scythe Fuma 2 says here, right on the old box, pretty much Intel and AMD. Of course, AM4, looking in the nice manual here. Okay, so if you're on Intel, you're going to be getting this bracket here, which you're going to use. And of course, if you're on AMD, you're expected to use your stock backplate. So you get a backplate with Intel. You do not with AMD. You got to have your stock backplate. So, if in the past you've mounted a different cooler that required you to remove your stock backplate and you threw it out, you're out of luck. Alright, on the Intel side, basically what you have here is these little rubber grommets pop off. Oops, of course that always happens. Okay, you've got these little screws which have a triangular pattern. And that triangular pattern is going to fit right there. So depending on which lugga or LGA you have, the screw is going to be either there or it's going to be slid up a little farther. Depending on which mounting pattern you have, chances are you're going to be a 1200 or 11.5X. So you fit the triangle pattern into the groove, and then you take this rubber corner and that holds it in there, and then you have your bracket. Alright, after that, you're going to use an assortment of these metal pieces and washers, you know, and screws and springs, you know the drill, to hold down the cooler. Pretty interesting, right? No, not very interesting. But anyway, the tower, it is a dual tower cooler. Alright, it's going to have some very good RAM clearance for that. You get a nickel-plated cold plate with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 heat pipes. If I'm not mistaken, I think, is it 4 or 5 heat pipes are really the best you're going to get without diminishing returns. I don't exactly remember. I do mostly water cooling, but I think 5 heat pipes. Anything over 5, it's not nearly as much of an improvement in performance after 5. Diminishing returns. We all know what that means. Alright, this is coming with 2 fans. You get a little thin guy and a thick guy. Alright, obviously you got your thick guy down in the middle. And then your thin guy is going to go in the front. Okay, we all know what this cooler looks like. There's pictures of it online. Anyway, personally for me, when it comes to something like this, I mean, this has some decent weight to it. It's certainly not the biggest and heaviest cooler out there. Sometimes the boxes will tell you what TDP it's designed to work for. Let's see if this says anything about that. Not seeing much about thermal design, power, handling. So, anyways, I would say with most chips that are 105 watt TDP, which is a lot of the new AMDs and Intel are under, you should be able to get what I would call a light to moderate overclock without this thing getting too loud. I mean, there's a lot of mass here, a lot of radiator, because essentially that's what this is, it's a radiator. You should be able to get some decent, what I consider, for me, I'm not an overclock nut. It's not my thing. I do it. I need to get, when I overclock, I like a good 400 megahertz. That's about where I stop. If I can get 400 megahertz overclock, great. If not, I'm happy with 300, or I'm happy with 200. 100 megahertz overclock for me is like, you might as well just not do it. You know, the thing with overclocking is if you're going to have your computer, that one computer, for the rest of your life, then yeah, you probably don't want to overclock. Or at least in overclocking, you don't want to have to increase your core voltage. But everyone says, ooh, you increase the core voltage, it takes years off the life. Well, the thing is, a CPU will last generally longer than you want it. So overclocking isn't really you're not gonna lose anything overclocking, because chances are, if you are an overclocker and you're putting stuff like this in your computer, you're probably going to switch CPUs in 3 to 5 years anyway, to keep up with the times. So, me personally, having this hang off my motherboard, inside of my case, I would, in my opinion, rather have something like this. Simple AIO. Just doesn't sag the motherboard as much. It could potentially be quieter. Again, a big air cooler can be very quiet if you're not overclocking, because the fans aren't spinning. And obviously, the main thing about an air cooler compared to a water cooler, I don't know what just made that noise, is on the air cooler, it has fans. The water cooler has a pump. In this case, the pump is up here. Usually pumps are right there around the tubing. A pump is much more likely to fail than fans, and even if your fans fail, this will still be cooling your CPU fairly decently, unless you're gaming or something. So yes, water cooling is less redundant, and that's why these things only have like a 3 to 5 year warranty, because they know they're not going to last. Interesting to say though, this water cooler was brought in by a customer to have it replaced, and just for fun I decided to take apart, and oddly enough those screws all came right out. I was able to get right into the block. They screwed right back in. There was no Loctite, no strip threads. I was able to take the pump out, clean it, replace the liquid. Pretty cool. Maybe this is the way things are going with AIO coolers. I don't know, but that's pretty awesome to be able to go in there, clean out the cold plate, clean out the pump, and change the fluid. That's amazing, in my opinion. So anyway, Scythe Fuma 2. We're going to be giving this guy away here at FrozenCPU. It is an open boxed item, so it's not going to be a brand new crispy one. It's going to be this one here I'm doing the video on. Keep that in mind. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them below or send me an email, max@frozencpu.com. Thank you.